Hello, this is the Boys of Summer commentary. I'm going to go track by track through the song and show you and explain to you how I made the song. It was inspired, the choice was inspired by a book by one of my favorite authors, Caroline Kepnes. And it is a book called Hidden Bodies, and it is a sequel to a book called You, which is a series on Netflix now. The series is good, but the books are just an astonishing masterclass in character development and really, really dark. I would say that, there's elements of dark comedy in it, but it's just like having a meal that satisfies your senses in so many ways. It's a really great book. And in that book, this song is referenced quite a few times, and I just wanted to redo that song in the way that I feel like some of the characters or the main character in that book would have heard it in his mind, if that makes sense. So it's a very dark book, and I have a friend. Hang on.
Hang on. Guess who it is? Wait.
So I wanted to do that song. Yes, she snorted at me. You heard it here. So I wanted to do this tune in honor of that book, and also because I don't like the summer. I really hate the summer, and I wanted to do just a really dark rendition of how it makes me feel. And it did come out very heavy, gloomy, foggy, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It was fun to make, and it's fun when you're inspired by, a book or a movie and it comes out in that way. And, anyway, I'm gonna stop talking and show you guys how I made it.
Right, puppy?
Right, everybody, Boys of Summer template right here. So this is the sound of it. This is the Polyvox, right? I use this on a ton of stuff. It is a beast. And it is this little guy back here. I always remember that my friend that had one, who worked at the Mute Studio in London, said, "You should get a Polyvox. It makes the Pro 1 sound like a butterfly." Like, oh. So, this thing kind of sounds like a tractor. It's a really, really great synth, but that is what's doing the bass, okay? So we're going to go track by track, and that's that. So I wanted a really snarly, gnarly thing to underpin all of the kind of melancholy, stacked vocals, big reverb, high stuff. And this little guy, that's my kick. And that came out of the Electron analog rhythm, which I have for sale at the moment, by the way. I put this through iZotope, Neutron, and Bitcrusher. Yeah, so it is boosting the lows a bit. And then, I'm sorry, I'm not an engineer, that's the best way I can describe it. And then the Logic Bitcrusher, which I really like to put on a kick, because it doesn't take much of the low end out, but it gives it a nice little fizz on top instead of it sounding like, if the song can call for it, it's a nice thing to add. I don't know what this is. It's electronic. Okay, so this is a clap that I warped and pitch shifted, that also came from the Analog Rhythm. And this is, that's a hi-hat that I think I warped as well. No, I didn't. I just stretched it. So, you know, so far we've got these rhythm tracks. And it's just this. A little tambourine with a big long reverb. Okay. And then, sort of the guts of the song, other than the vocal, is this, which is the Synthorchestra, which I also use a lot considering it's one of my only two polyphonic keyboards in this studio, which is right here. It's a relatively rare Italian, I guess, synthesizer. And I got it a few years ago. The guy I bought it from really fucking gouged me on the price, but I wanted it really badly and I could afford it at the time, so I grabbed it. If you see one of those though, they're really, really nice. So I did this and then I reversed it. So a lot of this is cut up and looped, some of it isn't. So that's kind of the closest that we get to the original notes progression. Do, 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 do. If you guys know the original, that's how it goes. This is a non-track. Like I said, I'm not very clean with the way I do things if I'm working by myself. If I'm collaborating with people, I'll clean it up, but if I'm not, I just don't fucking bother. And this is more Synthorchestra stuff, which is kind of just some desolate single note things. This too. And that is, of course, going through the 104M delay. I use this a ton. And it's kind of like one of my very favorite delay pedals other than this, which I'm also selling. So this one actually is one of my favorite things to do with the Synthorchestra, which is on the piano setting through the ring mod. That's what gives it that beautiful bell sound. I know I did a sample pack of this a few months ago, so this is what I did with that sound. So you can, you know, pitch the frequency on your ring mod to kind of match it, but you can also tweak that frequency to make it sound really like, you know, that's my best ring mod imitation, right? You kind of know what I mean. And then, I don't know what that is. This, I believe, is just a big, that is a Farfisa through my trusty, that's the beginning. Recognize that? That's through the Cluster Flux. I know I didn't clean up for this video today. I was going to, but I didn't. This is the Farfisa that I use a ton as well, which is that's always going through the I must have turned it down. Yeah, so I automated that so that it faded and came back in. And that's going through the Cluster Flux too. This little guy is probably the same thing. Yeah. That Cluster Flux, that's what causes that kind of harmonic, that swoopy harmonic at the top is the Cluster Flux. And then down here, I think it's a bunch of synthy swoops, and I think that this is me. No, it's not. And that's actually the Polyvox as well, doing a little top line. And Polyvox again, which I panned hard right. Yeah, right, so. And there's another thing, panned hard left. So these are big glissando swoops. Pitch bends, stuff like that. So I wanted to do a lot of pitch bending in this just to kind of give it that real lethargic, dreaded feel to it, you know? You don't want to get out of bed because it's too hot and it's your least favorite season of the year. So this is all Voyager. That's that really. I just wanted to have a big stack of bends going on here. Okay, so that's that. It's kind of rare that I would use the same synth to do that same sort of thing, but it really, really worked out well. And I changed it up a bit, you know, it's not the same settings on there. But, you know, usually I would mix the Moog with the Polyvox or the Pro One, something that's got a different palette to it, but I don't know, I just didn't do it this time. And then one more little thing with the kick. So I think the month before last, we had a rhythm sample pack that involved a bunch of rhythm tracks from the ARP 2600, a bunch of loops, and I myself used one, but I warped this, and the original that you guys have sounds like this, right? But this one, I just warped it to suit the song, and it really fucked it up in a good way, but I like how it came out. Just to give it, because, you know, it had to go on to the dun dun rhythm, so that's it there. And then we're just gonna run the vocals real quick. So, so yes, I recorded my desk, but it didn't work. So let's go into the voice. This was actually kind of a hard vocal to get right, just to kind of figure out how to sing it. I don't know why it's called teeth lead vocal, no idea. I think it's because I was singing it through my teeth at first. Nobody on the road, sort of thing. It didn't work. Lots of delay, a fair amount of overdrive, so it's a pretty drippy vocal. I feel it in the air, summer's out of reach, today, empty street, the sun goes down low. So I know that I also like to avoid, bollocks. I like to avoid doing comps, but I know for sure that this one is definitely a comp of, I think, 3 different ones. So it was tough. It was tough getting this vocal right. And I was quite picky with it in how I wanted to express it. Because I wanted it to sound defeated and not, I didn't want it to be like, I'm really sexy and breathy. I didn't really want to do that either. So, you know, I know it comes naturally for me, but no, I'm just kidding. So, and then this little guy. These are all just harmonies. So there's a lot of this. So that's the ending I'm playing, actually, because the rest of this, to be honest, is all harmonies, and I will separate or I'll isolate these so you can hear how they build. So this is the top harmony here, and the chorus. And in fact, I think most of it is. There's that. Our desolate girl on the beach, lonely as a cloud. There it is. I can see you. Okay, so let's see how this builds real quick. I kind of liked this harmony. It just kind of came out a little bit unexpectedly. I can see you. Again. I can see you. Right? Your brown skin shining in the sun. I can see you. Your brown skin shining in the sun. Yay. So I think that's about it, really. And the rest of it is the ending, don't look back, you can never look. Whoops. And the end of it is this. Yeah, so that's the vocals. It's a pretty straightforward song, you know. It wasn't a crazy production. You know, mine are always going to be quite dense, but, you know, there it is, y'all.